Welcome to the show, Suna. It's great to have you.
Great to be here.
You are officially the first Palestinian founder on the show, and I'm super proud to have you here. Very proud to be learning about a startup that is actually born and raised in Palestine. It goes without saying that the topic and the problem that you're trying to solve, meditation, mindfulness in Arabic, is one problem that has not been addressed for quite some time. And 3 years ago, I think your team and yourself decided to embark on this journey. Was it 3 years ago?
The idea, yes. 2 years with the product, but 3 years of... First of all, Yazan, I'm so happy to be here. We've tried so long.
That's right, yeah.
Finally. So I'm excited. When you talked about me being a founder from Palestine, you know, the image in my mind, the analogy is Mission Impossible.
Wow, okay, wow. So all the challenges and everything else you're going through, huh?
It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's doable. I mean, it's doable.
So I was planning to keep that for the second. In my head, I'm thinking I can't wait to hear about what it is to start a company in Palestine, in the West Bank. But before we get to that, let's discuss meditation and mindfulness, and then move on to your entrepreneurial story in Palestine. I'd like to start off with what is the right description and definition for meditation and mindfulness, and what are the misconceptions or misinterpretations for those two terms as you come across them in the Arab world?
Yeah. Let's begin with the non-Arab world. I mean, we also see meditation and mindfulness being introduced for about 10 years globally, especially with the apps coming in and introducing mindfulness and meditation. But it's a 5,000 years old tool that people use, especially also if you talk about religious people or even prophets used it, meditation, mindfulness, to get into themselves. So this is something that began so many years before technology. But what we see today is that technology brought this issue closer and accessible and affordable to everybody to learn it. And this is what I like about it. If we talk about meditation, mindfulness in Arabic, let me give you one thing to think about, and I'm going to ask you the question.
Sure, yeah.
How many things you do on a daily basis? And I asked that yesterday at STEP conference. How many things you do on a daily basis that you're not happy that you're doing it, but you still do it?
Yeah, quite a few things. I mean...
And may I ask, why can't you stop doing it?
Oh, that's a very deep question. Some of those things are requirements of me, like errands I need to run, work, activities that I have to do. And other things are bad habits that I can't kick out immediately out of my life. But these are generally the two buckets, I would say.
So actually, all what we do in the technology of the new apps and the new platforms that we're creating as a tech person is to help you create new habits or leave bad habits. But whatever we're doing, we can't bring you to the state of mind where you control what do you want to do in your day. And this is something that is super important. Mm-hmm. Just think about it for a second. If you are not in control of what you want to do in your day, who is?
That's right.
And if these habits are not serving Yazan in 10 years that you want to be, then who is responsible for it? And isn't it frustrating that you can't control what you want to do?
Yeah,
somebody
absolutely.
else or other forces, or maybe just lazy
scrolling your phone. Yeah, I mean, that's one of my addictions for sure. And I call it an addiction.
Everybody.
Yeah, but I mean, I've recently looked at the number of hours I spend on my iPhone, and it's disgraceful actually. So I wouldn't even want to mention it on the podcast, but it's pretty bad. And I realized, yeah, I mean, that's an addiction. And so one of the problems you're trying to solve through the technology and through the app is to give people control over their lives and the habits that they want to achieve. Is this one way to describe it?
Mindfulness practices can definitely help you. Beside the scientific, I can go to the scientific evidence of what it does to your psychological and physical and everything.
Sure.
But if we take just the benefits that you will be taking tomorrow or after a month of using 10 minutes only of a lazy exercise, it's not that I'm taking you to the gym. It's the laziest thing that you can do. And
quote unquote.
Yes. It's just to get inside and observe your thoughts and your actions. And the meditation, it will delay the time between action and reaction. And this is what it does.
So it slows you down from your impulse, being impulsive, basically.
Absolutely.
I see.
Who doesn't want that?
Absolutely.
And if you have the tool, and we want to bring this tool in Arabic, because I have a feeling that it was born here and somehow it get out there, and it feels like we are in a delay of 10 years, which I don't believe. So I think we got it, and we have it inside ourselves. We are a spiritual beings in the Middle East, and I love that. And the thing that we're bringing meditation, mindfulness, with and I call it special team, is our capability to bring it in Arabic with an Arabic culture. We are different. We are, I'm going to call it in Arabic, but جماعي. We're not totally individual. We like to be in community.
Sure.
And I think this is lovely.
Absolutely.
If we imagine us stepping to the future together with this awareness of loving to be together and still bringing the individual inside the community, I think we can be a very beautiful community to the outside as well.
So you mean in real life as Arabs, because we like to be communal, we can have that in real life, but then when we want to meditate, we do it in a solo, individual manner using the app. Is this what you're trying to say?
No.
Okay, sorry, maybe I misunderstood.
Yeah. I think if we compare ourselves in the Middle East and compare it to other cultures around the world, maybe Asian is more connected, but I have a clear vision and mission of understanding and loving what we are today as an Arabs. You have sisters, you have brothers, and you have in-laws, and you have connection with them, right?
Yeah.
When you go to the US or you go to any other countries, it fades.
It's an isolated culture. You're right.
You live alone, and when you live alone with your spouse or with your partner,
Yeah.
It's harder to the community can give you more psychological
Traumas or
no, it can help you be more happy. I mean, when you are in a company or you are a part of a community, despite that today still we need to have more individual inside the community, but it has a special pattern. I don't know if you could understand me.
And I think what you're getting at is that we have an advantage as the Arabs to have our families and our friends around
Absolutely.
us in a way that they don't in the US or Europe, right?
True.
That I agree with 100%.
And if mindfulness can bring you this liberty of being in an individual, knowing what is your belief system, your own consciousness and belief system, alone, differentiate it from others,
right,
in the community,
so you hit
and still enjoy the benefits of being belonging to say. I think we
right.
have
So that's kind of what I meant initially, is that as an Arab you have the advantage of having the community around you, but also through meditation you can get to know yourself as an individual as well, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, I think
And
we're on the
decide
same
who you
page.
are, want to be inside this.
100%. You mentioned earlier it's lazy, and that's one thing that I'm somebody who likes instant gratification. If I like to, on my phone, I get my dopamine fix. If I go to the gym, I feel good. Maybe even just a couple of weeks of consistent workout, I can already see the results. How lazy is meditation? How lazy do you need to be, or how patient do you need to be in order to get the results of meditation? Like from your experience, it's not the kind of thing you're going to see the results immediately from, right?
True.
So what's the, you have to commit for like a month or two to do it regularly before you can start to see the results? Or what's your experience in general on that?
I'm gonna say two things about what you said. One of them is the dopamine, and I'm a girl on fire. I myself.
Yeah.
I'm a girl on fire. I all the time had to run. I like it. I enjoy it. When I was introduced myself to meditation, I was scared. Honestly. I mean, I was scared that I will lose the flame that I have on a daily basis that makes me up and I'm always on fire. And it doesn't. It keeps you on this, but it sharpens your clarity of the day. And this is unproductivity of the day. And I think when you see that in a week or two, you see yourself coming down, and you can feel it even in the feet. When you I'm with you right now, and I can definitely go back to myself. And this is the amazing thing that happens to you. You can sit with me here and just in seconds, I can be outside and inside. I can see everything that's happening inside me. I can see the stressed areas. I can breathe and send them oxygen to the stress areas. And I think this is the major thing that you do, despite if it takes you a week, a month, but you can do it on daily, everywhere. Just learn the techniques. And this is what we do in Tawazon. We give you the techniques. We guide you with a psychologist background meditations. So this is something that we know how your subconscious will be reacting to these kind of meditations and music. And I think some people take them a week, a month, but you'll see it.
I have actually my ex-girlfriend, still a very good friend of mine. She did a silent meditation in India for like a whole week. She started off doing regular meditation. She saw the benefits. She went to India and spent like a week not saying a single word. I think you're not even allowed to look at other people in the eye. This is how the format of that meditation, which is called Vipassana. And she had a life-changing experience. She started crying at one point, shedding it all off. But no, she came back. Even her complexion looked different. So the reason I bring that example is I understand that using your app and other apps that exist in the US and Europe, you can get soundbite or short meditations, and that's a great way to start. But then I think the more you invest in this habit, the better the results. It's not the kind of thing where there is a cap to it. I think the more, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But
there are so many kinds also of meditation. I mean, what we do is we introduce the guided meditation, which I think it's something that you can do on a daily basis. But definitely when you learn that and it becomes a habit that you do on a daily basis, and I wish that everybody would do that.
Yeah.
Just to see how can they change their habits depending on this specific one. So I think there's a lot to explore, and I like curiosity and explore it. Just explore what you feel about it.
Now that we're talking about meditation in the context of the Arab world, because what sets your app apart, Tawazon, Tawazon with an O, not with a U, is that it's Arabic content focused for Arabs in the region and abroad, so that they can get into meditation if they're beginners or even if they've been meditating for a while. What are some of the social, maybe religious challenges that could be indoctrinated in the communities that or I guess my question is, are there any challenges socially, religiously or otherwise that you think are standing in between people to embrace meditation? Or do you find that the Arabs are actually like jumping on it and trying?
Great question.
Yeah.
When we began with Tawazon and we just launched the app, and we didn't know. We were the first ones who even explored this area. And I thought, I put my, what's going to happen? How will people react? Will they understand? Will they put the religion on the table? And despite that, I had a clear way to explain why religion is. But I was super surprised, me and my team, to see that people, for example, our biggest client in the Middle East is Saudi region. So I think people read, which we think they don't. I think people hear, which we think they don't. And I'm very optimistic about the future of the Arab region. And I'm going to say it once and twice and again. There's something beautiful, a pattern that is going on here that I like it, and which people want to learn more, and they are spiritual as well. And I think one of the things that we face is that people begin explaining why meditation. We didn't have to explain about meditation. People who use Tawazon begin to be our ambassadors to talk about it.
Awesome.
Non-paid. I mean, sometimes we can see, the graph of the app goes. I say, please let me know who is that, just to thank him or to thank her.
Yeah.
That influencer. And I ask my team, please just find out on which... because we didn't have a link to track. Many Saudi influencers just talk about Tawazon without telling us that they will.
Yeah.
Or Kuwaiti or Bahraini. And I'm thankful for them. I mean, if they hear me here, I'm really thankful for them. They believe in the idea. They believe in what we do. And when we talk about religion, I think the things that they heard is that Nabi Muhammad, Prophet, he was doing meditation and mindfulness practices in Ghar Hara. So this is something that he was connecting to, and he needed this khulwa to go back to themselves. And I love what Shakiri does, and he talks about it. He talks about the benefits of meditation in his life, to have this amazing content that he's bringing out. You need that to have creativity and clarity.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually used to deal with a lot of anxiety. I still do. And meditation was great in helping me calm down. But then after I started studying the topic a bit more and learning about all the different ways you can meditate, I came across something called breath work, like dopamine activation breath work. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, of course. We do that in Tawazon.
Oh, do you? I was going to ask, like,
yes.
because I went through your app and I didn't find, it's like the Wim Hof, Marcel Hof style.
She calls it Al Aksi. She brings you several techniques on the breathing. So we have a section only for the breathing and how to give you so many tools to do on a daily basis. And I think Ilda Zarmout, which has, I think, an angel voice.
Yeah.
I think we were very lucky to find Ilda Zarmout and Dr. Shafi Masalha. Both combination. She comes from a very spiritual, a yoga teacher and a meditation expert.
Right.
And he comes from a psychological background of 30 years with kids and adults.
Yeah.
And to get both together, she writes, he supervises and changes the content so your subconscious will be. So he changes the word. He said, no, we have to use it. And I think this is something that gives Tawazon an advantage. And I have a big dream. I always have big dreams. I have a big dream that for one time, Tawazon might be a product that is born in the Middle East and going worldwide.
Wow.
Instead of just consuming or taking a worldwide company and bringing it, which is easy.
Yeah.
But to create something. Our music in Tawazon is created by Dr. Nauras Kurzum, who is a neuroscientist and doing his PhD on the relationship between music and human brain. So just think about when you enter Tawazon and you feel immediately a relief. Somebody studied that and somebody got a award from a German universities on his work on doing this.
Wow.
So I think we do have even a potential to bring Tawazon from the Middle East outside if we go to English as well.
Very cool. Wow. I mean, this is a big dream, but I mean, as an entrepreneur, I think this is something I wish you
It wakes me up in the morning at 4 a.m.
Before you do your meditation or after?
It wakes me up.
So I was talking about specifically the breath work I know there's breathing techniques you do in meditation to calm you down and, but then there's breath work, the one that I've come across and I was actually recently I've picked up this habit and it's amazing. It doesn't look comfortable when you look at somebody doing it from the outside because it's a lot of shahiq, zafir. Yeah, exactly.
And ocean.
It's like what they call holotropic breathing, right? So you over oxidize the body and it's actually you finish that session and you're exhausted.
You feel like you did a workout.
You're starving. You're hungry.
True. You're hungry.
But it just fuels all the creative juices in your head. You suddenly can make a small prayer, even if you're religious, or if you're not religious. Just like kind of sit and think and wish well, and So, but doing it with this kind of like machine of oxygen and in and out, and it's fascinating. In fact, I've done one this morning before our session.
Oh.
I normally do them before my podcast.
And you feel tired. Sometimes you sweat.
Of course, yeah.
It is.
I mean, you even get electricity in your hands and your tingle, like your toes tingle, your hands tingle, because it's an exhausting exercise, but it's very good for the body, for the metabolism, for detoxing anything out of your body as well. And it's part of it's not exactly meditation the way that we, that people talk about. It is, I guess.
It is, of course. Anything you can, you move from your consciousness to subconsciousness. Now, the thing that is connecting you with the consciousness is the breath. But when you do it, you get insight. So I use this and I'm inside.
Yeah.
Did I make myself clear? This is the simple thing that you can do and you are already inside. Explore.
Yeah.
Get excited.
Yeah.
What are my possibilities when I'm inside?
Yeah.
Because the inner world is much bigger than the outward.
Yeah.
And our thought creates our daily. How does it look like? So dream, do your creativity.
So one thing I really like about your app and meditation in general is that it is science-based, or another way to put it is there is no bullshit in meditation, and it is scientifically proven to help. And the reason I say that is because there are so many modalities that are being sold to people that can start to tip into the what I call BS or bullshit. And people make money out of it, and some people get exploited. In many cases, it can be helpful too. I'm not to say that they're all bad, but one thing about meditation and mindfulness that I like a lot is that you can't say that it doesn't work. Like, the science is there. Try it, and you'll see the results. Like, so it's almost objective that there is no reason why people should not try meditation. You know,
True.
compared to other modalities that could start to get into fluffy.
True, but I can understand you. I mean, this is one of the reasons that I'm a chemical engineer. And I'm fascinated with the human brain. I'm fascinated with, I read the consciousness books for fun, you know. I'm fascinated because we know so little.
Yeah.
What do we know? And every time when we don't know, we just invent,
We come up with a theory.
Yeah, I don't want to go that because religious, and we come out with so many things to help us understand with what's going on. But the main thing that you have to do when you create a meditation app, especially in Arabic, we wanted an excellence. And I was coming from a scientific background. I had to bring the science with me. I could not work on content that I myself do not believe in, or I myself can't present to my kids. And coming from a scientific background, I saw many apps out there, great apps, but still, it's a life coach who did that, or a person who went to the Middle East, Asia for 10 years and come back feeling very spiritual.
Yeah.
And I think there's a huge difference between post-trauma meditations created by a psychologist and a neuroscientist who are studying a day-to-day what they're doing, and they have the experience to bring that. And this is why we also bring the kids meditation by psychologists as well, who's doing her PhD on the relationship between kids and meditation.
Nice.
So imagine this job is an excellence.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of this. I'm very proud of my team. And I think this is the winning game which Tawazon is doing, is the content. And you can definitely be sure when you introduce it to yourself or your kids.
Yeah.
Like, people in the Middle East use Tawazon as a sleep pill for their kids, but it's okay.
Okay,
we know that. We track you.
but it's a good thing to get a kid to go to sleep with some meditation.
Yeah.
Or even adults. I think you had one thing I noticed is that I think I as I was trying your app, I put like, what am I feeling? And then I got some recommendations. And one of them was like a bedtime story of an elephant. And I was thinking, like, cool, like, you know, a bedtime story. I think that, you know, and so are you deliberately trying to give bedtime stories to adults as well? Or is it just meant to be for kids? Or
we have in mind something for the adults.
Okay.
Ilda is doing something basic now with meditation for sleep.
Okay.
But definitely, I have some ideas that I'm going to spread to the world. I mean, my words and see what's. I have some thinking about special bedtime stories in the Arab world, and it might be coming. Let's see. Yes.
So tell us where you are at this point with Tawazon. So give us an idea of who the team is, how big the team is. Did you raise any funding? You went to Step Conference a couple of days ago. So give me a full status update on your startup. So yeah.
So actually, we just closed our pre-series A, almost closed our pre-series A. We left just a little bit of chance to a regional to come in with Step, and I'm still searching for the right investor, because it's a huge relationship, and I have a great relationship with my investors, and I want to keep that, and I want to expand with knowing that. So actually, we are 9 people now. We have 2 in the US. One get married and moved to the US. The other is in Massachusetts doing his master on data science. And the rest are in Palestine. And we have one in Dubai here, in the Emirates.
Cool. And how many users do you have? Like, how's the traction like so far?
We do have almost 250,000.
You have 250,000 users?
Yes.
Wow, that's not a small number at all.
Yes.
Wow, good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a very small number. I think we can do much more.
I think, I mean, because the reason I say 250,000, I started a tech company in New York, which was also, I mean, it wasn't a meditation app. It was an online community for debate. So it was more like a YouTube, Facebook, Reddit type thing. And I struggled to get it. I mean, we got that users eventually, but when we closed the company, obviously we lost them. But it wasn't easy to get 250,000 monthly active users.
No, the monthly active users is not like that.
Okay.
It's around 20,000.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds about right. But that's still a lot of,
reasonable.
That's not a small number at all.
That's not a small number.
So.
And we are now working on the conversion rates. So actually, we're quite doing well. Actually, last year we managed to change the numbers. I think by 200% of the conversion rate.
Okay.
Which is great in this area, and we still think we can do much more. We're still have to do many things to excellence Tawazon as a product, and but I think now after our pre-series A, we might be able to expand the team. We're bringing now a VP marketing, which we are all excited to have him with us by the 1st of March, and. Yes, we are optimizing.
Very cool.
Thank you.
I was telling you at the beginning about how proud I am that there is such an awesome startup that is being founded in Palestine by a Palestinian. So I want to ask you about two questions. I mean, what is it like to be a mother and start a company, and how you managed to shuffle that together? And second, what's it like to start a company in Palestine? Like, what sort of challenges do you guys face, and how do you manage to navigate around all of these challenges?
Sure. I think I'm not a typical entrepreneur. I'm not a typical in the age. I'm not typical in what I do on a daily basis, and I'm not. This is what I think, where I come from, and I'm excited to share that with the people around, because I want them to be able to dream that it's possible. I'm a mother of 3. I'm a chemical engineer working in corporations for 13 years. Before starting Tawazon. I'm a full-time mother. I like to cook. I like to keep the housekeeping as well.
How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Oh, mashallah.
I am involved 100% in their lives.
Wow.
I choose what I want to do with my kids and my community, and how I spend my time.
Mm-hmm.
And this is important for me. And also building a culture in Tawazon. And I think this is something that incredibly exciting for us, is that we don't have 8 to 5 working hours. We have 60 to 40% women, men in Tawazon. So actually we understand how women need to be to take care of their families. And I'm doing it in Palestine, and we have a female iOS developer recently. This is something that
wow,
super exciting. Yes, she's a mother of 3.
Amazing.
So it's really amazing. I mean, search out. We're not in the age. We're not. I mean, we're not a 20 and 25 years old singles who have all their time to bring it. All of Tawazon employees are married with kids.
Wow.
I think maybe 2. One of them is married without kids, and the other is not married. But
everybody else has family commitments,
yes,
basically.
Of course.
So I really love listening to this, because I think it's an inspiring example for not just women, by the way, but specifically women and mothers. It's always great to meet. I had Lulu Khazan on episode 3 of my podcast, if you remember.
She's amazing.
She's incredible. She was at Step, by the way. I don't know if you got to see her. She was talking
yes,
about,
I saw her.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's a mother, and she's a hustler, and I got sisters and a mother, and they all work. My mother is early 70s, and she doesn't need to work, but she continues to work. And my sisters all work as well. And so I always find that there is something amazing to highlight women who are able to be very successful in their careers as employees or as founders of startups, and manage to find a way to do it. So I guess my second question to you on that front is, do you feel like you observe that women face challenges to succeed as women? Is there still prejudice that stops women nowadays in the time that we live in the socioeconomic status that we have, do you feel like we still live in a world that gives women a disadvantage, or do you feel like what's your perspective on this
This is a
matter?
huge question, Dan.
I know.
Are you ready for the answer?
Please bring it. I genuinely, because I'll tell you something. I'll give you some context for this question, if you don't mind. I had a friend over the other day, and we were having a discussion at dinner about there is definitely, if you look at it from the outside, things don't look very fair or equal if you just look at it from the outside. And I'm genuinely curious to understand, to what extent are we still dealing with prejudice and bias, or is it affirmative action that we need to take in order to increase equality of opportunity or equality of outcome? So I'm curious to hear from women who are doing well. What do you think?
I'm going to ask you, and I know you are not a typical Arab, and I must say that because you've traveled a lot,
Sure,
and you saw a lot, and you're more exposed to other cultures. But you do know the background of it, and I'm going to ask you this question. If a man works, if a man doesn't work in the Arab region, and the woman is working, how is this combination?
It looks bad.
It looks bad.
Yeah.
It does. Even it does look back in other cultures, but here it's more even.
Yeah, it's really bad.
If the male works and the female doesn't work, how does it feel?
It looks more normal than, yeah.
If the woman is totally independent depending on her, suppose, for living and for buying and whatever is that acceptable?
It is acceptable. It happens, but it's like, I personally don't find it to be great. I think that
not you,
yeah,
but in the region.
In the region, it is acceptable.
Is it acceptable that women are not independent financially?
Is it? Sorry, could you repeat the question one more time?
Yes. Is it acceptable in the region for women not to be in any stage of their lives, especially wives and mothers, to be independent financially?
It is acceptable.
Yeah.
Like,
is it sometimes even forced?
Yeah, for sure, it's forced.
If they have kids, then
100%.
I would. Yeah, and I think this is something that we brought in Let's Talk. We have some talks, me and Dr. Shafi, sometimes in our offices, and we bring it out to Tawazon. So in Tawazon, it's not only meditations and mindfulness practices for adults and kids. We have a Let's Talk, which we sometimes use 15 minutes just to ask him questions that comes on Tawazon. One of them is, she left her work and she was supposed to take care of the kids, and she feels frustrated, and she feels that and he gave me a great answer. I asked him to repeat it twice and 3 times. The goal of the family is the growth of each member of the family.
Yeah.
Think about it. Think about it. If somebody is asking his wife to leave her work at any big company that she worked so hard to achieve, just to take care of the kids, and the kids are more important now.
That's wrong, for sure.
You're killing her.
Yes, agreed. So I agree with you that...
so these are the challenges.
These
actually.
are sure. So there are stereotypical or cultural stereotypes that keep women, unfortunately, in a...
Clarity, more. I would say clarity about, are women stepping to the future with a financial independent or not?
Yeah.
And I feel that a woman who is financially independent is a woman who is emotionally independent. And I myself prefer a woman. Sometimes men or male in the Middle East get afraid of this.
Intimidated, yeah.
Yes, but I think the opposite.
I agree.
If a woman is independent and she wants you,
there's nothing more attractive than a successful,
absolutely,
like an independent, successful woman who can do it on her own.
And she wants to be with you.
100%. So what I'm curious to learn more about is, if there are women who want to be successful, who don't want to be boxed in this stereotype, are those women facing a harder time achieving success because they're not getting equal opportunity, because maybe men are not, for example, like you're about to raise money right now for your startup. Do you, for example, that's one example, but it doesn't have to be the only example. Do you think that maybe perhaps investors see that there's a woman leading a startup that makes them discouraged to fund you, for example? What's one example?
It's a great question again, really, because I think it's on 2 sides. One of them is that we come insecure of what we ask. So we ask for less salaries, we ask for less, and because the man or the male is the main And I think this is something that you can. The man, he needs to support the family. So actually, when he is thinking about even funding, he's thinking about, I am the main income, or the main provider of the income.
Yeah.
And this pushes decisions.
Yeah.
The female feels that she's
Second.
I'm not the main.
Yeah.
So she comes from. I think I don't blame only the investors. I blame me. I don't want to blame any other woman, but we get funded less than men. I mean, if you see a CEO female and a CEO male in the same area or in the same field, I didn't do a research on that, but it's something to think about. I want to check. And definitely there's
you mean like the salaries?
Yeah, and Nairo's is doing a great work on that. Salaries, funding, we are definitely lower.
So objectively, this is true. I don't disagree with you. I'm wondering, what is the reason behind that? Is it that, and actually I've done quite a bit of research on this topic, but I always like to talk about it with women on the show. There is a really good episode on Netflix called, as part of a series called Explained. So they explain different topics.
Of course.
And one of them is the pay, is a gender pay gap.
I didn't see that.
It's a great one. And it's a very progressive episode that doesn't leave a stone unturned. They explain everything that could be leading to that, from prejudice to, maternity leave, because women have to deliver and all of that. And I think the show goes on to conclude that ultimately it comes down to the fact that women generally lose a year or two, if not more, in their careers compared to men, because naturally they have to give birth.
Biological.
But also beyond that, what happens is that a lot of those house chores and kids, the responsibilities around the kids are thrown on the woman, not just the delivery, right? And
when the teacher calls, who do you think she calls? Me or my husband?
Yeah, exactly. So
I don't think they have the number of my husband, but it's okay.
So it's
another story.
Exactly. So this is a setback that women have to face on average, and that leads to, it's like when you miss a year or two in school,
I'm going to tell
right?
you another thing. If she calls and my husband can't go to pick, who does he ask from?
Yeah.
Sorry, Rami.
By default, you, right?
No.
Oh.
No, if he can't go,
okay.
Who will he be calling to help him to go to school to pick the kid if he needs or something?
Who?
A female from the family.
Oh, yeah.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
I mean,
it has to be a woman. Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's if it's not him, then he will ask the sister, will ask the sister-in-law, or will ask a friend, a female friend. So it's
clear. All right. So tell me a little bit about the life in Palestine. You're not the first person I meet who lives in Palestine. Maybe you're the third or fourth person I meet in a while.
Wallah.
No, I mean, I've pretty much all my friends are Palestinian, but the ones who lived until today in Palestine, I don't know a lot. And that's why I'm super excited to hear from you. What is life like in the West Bank, in Ramallah? And what is it like to start a company under the circumstances that you guys are living in? So please.
So I live in Jerusalem.
Oh, okay.
Which is under the circumstances that it is now. But so I live in Jerusalem. And it could be tricky because you want to live a normal life. You want to do normal things. And there's something weird about it, is that we do have a life. I mean, we do have a life. We go out with friends. We do have Thursday evenings, and we do have communities. But the general is that you don't feel safe. I think this is something I'm here in the Emirates, and I think the most critical thing that I feel here is I feel safe when I come here. I mean, I'm not afraid of the taxi driver. I'm not afraid of the walking in the street. But there, you are always afraid.
What are you afraid of?
Of the unknown.
Yeah, what I mean, is this...
It's a big issue, but I mean, you pick up a taxi and it could be an Arab, it could be a Jew.
Right.
And if you are in the street, and we have a very close member of the team, his son was walking in the street, and he is the super polite person you could ever imagine, and he's studying computer science, and he got attacked. just for speaking Arabic.
By an extremist
Yes.
Jew. Okay, I see.
Just walking the street. I mean,
Right.
and he's well known as the polite kid in the school, you know, the polite kid in the neighborhood.
Right.
So definitely he didn't do nothing to erase it. So this is the complicity. It's this feeling secure.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, there is an imbalance in power. So if you do get attacked by an extremist, usually they exist on both sides, but of course it doesn't help to have an extremist on the side that has 10 to 1 more power, or not even 10 to 1, 20 to 1 more power to defend them. I mean, what are you going to do when if you get attacked by somebody, an extremist Israeli, as a Palestinian in Palestine? Nobody can defend you, right? I mean, it's just you for yourself. You have to fend for yourself, basically.
It's an unfair equation.
It's an unfair equation. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you get attacked or from the other side, then nothing happened to the other side.
Yeah.
But if anybody, and I'm against that here and there, the results is one result actually. It's
And as a Palestinian founder of a startup in Palestine, do you find that there are challenges to your growth of the business, to your ability to get from point A to point B because you're in Palestine, or is the
Not
ecosystem
really.
not so much? Huh?
Not so much.
Mm.
I think many of the VCs and also the partnerships that we do, we are featured by Apple. We are the only meditation app on Alexa Middle East by Amazon. We are in partnerships with Anghami. We do a lot of work, and
Right.
we're also now offering to pay for Tawazon by telecom companies like STC, Zain, Ooredoo. So we're going, and inshallah in Egypt soon. So I don't see that. No, I think it depends on the excellence of the startup itself and the team.
Because you have a lot of developers who are Palestinian. Some of them are in the US, you mentioned, right?
Yes.
And some of them are based in Palestine.
Sure.
That's amazing. How big the team is again?
9.
9 people.
Yes.
Awesome. Amazing. I keep hearing about how...
9 full time, but we do have a lot of help from freelancers.
I keep hearing about how strong the software developers are, the talent is in Palestine. In
They
Gaza,
rock.
in Gaza as well, huh?
They rock.
Yeah, I bet. But also in Gaza, right? So there is no distinction between the talent exists. Some of them are like discovering gaps and technical hacks or gaps rather in Facebook. And I think I once saw a news of somebody in Palestine who found a bug on the Facebook app, a security hack basically.
I think one day
Yeah.
they will say it's created by a Palestinian mind.
Yeah?
It will be, yeah.
Yeah.
If you ask me what's my mission or my vision of Tawazon is, they once said it. I think Bezos said it.
Yeah.
It's
Jeff Bezos.
Yes, he said that Japanese CEO, I can't remember who's one, but they asked him after the World War II. They asked him, and Japan was known for a lousy product, and he said, "I want Japan to be known for excellence, and this is what I am doing here. Palestine must be known for excellence."
Mm-hmm.
And we have the talent, and I think now with the global village, it's more easy to access and give these amazing developers an opportunity, a fair opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm inviting also many startups. Take a look. We have a lot of developers, and if you need any help, I'm gonna introduce. I would love to introduce you.
Excellent. Well, and if anybody's listening and is not watching, they can reach out to you on LinkedIn. It's Suna,
Sure.
Suna, Uthman, Zoabi, Zoabi.
Zoabi-Othman.
Zoabi-Othman. Suna Zoabi-Othman. And as far as the app is concerned, Tawazon is Tawazon.
Sure.
That is available on
App Store, Google
on the
Play.
App Store. And so for anybody that is interested in in learning, or getting into meditation and mindfulness, or is already in meditation and wants to start exploring Arabic content, you can download the app on the App Store and on Android. Is there anything else you'd like to leave the listeners with and the watchers?
I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. It's been awesome.
It's been awesome. Thank
I
you.
really wish you all the best. I hope your visit to Dubai is successful.
Thank you.
And you raise your funding and your user numbers keep growing. And hope to see you again soon.
يلا شكرا.
Thank you very much.